At 6:10 in the morning, Elias Voss stood alone in the desert, staring at the most expensive mistake of his life. In front of him was a 4,000-year-old pyramid. Behind him were 20 empty tour buses. He had spent $42 million turning a forgotten monument into a global attraction. He had hired archaeologists, engineers, guards, drivers, and luxury hotel executives. He had built a solar-powered visitor center in the middle of nowhere. On opening day, only 17 people arrived. That night, Elias sat in his car and did the math. If this continued, everything would be gone in 6 months. Elias had not bought a failing hotel, a dying mall, or an abandoned theme park. He had bought the right to operate a pyramid. And he was about to discover that owning one of the most recognizable structures on Earth did not guarantee a profitable business. The deal 2 years earlier, Elias was a 46-year-old investor known for buying unusual assets. He liked properties other investors avoided because their problems frightened away competition. Then the government of a fictional desert nation called Kara announced a 40-year operating concession for the Pyramid of Amunet, a neglected royal tomb 3 hours from the capital. The pyramid was protected national heritage. It could not be sold, mortgaged, renamed, or physically altered. But the concession holder would control ticketing, tours, transportation, retail, hospitality, and commercial licensing around the site. To Elias, it looked perfect. The monument appeared on banknotes, school books, and tourism campaigns. Yet fewer than 30,000 people visited each year. There was no proper road, reliable electricity, mobile signal, or permanent restroom. Elias saw the gap between cultural value and commercial performance. He offered $12 million up front, promised another $25 million in development, and agreed to pay the government 12% of annual revenue. His advisors called it a trophy asset. Elias called it the cheapest global landmark on Earth. The first hidden cost, the purchase price, was only the beginning. A normal attraction can be changed to fit customers. Walls can move. Air conditioning can be installed. New entrances can be opened. A pyramid cannot be treated like normal real estate. Every cable, walkway, camera, light and handrail required conservation approval. Engineers could not drill into ancient stone. Ventilation had to protect fragile chambers. Visitor numbers were restricted because heat, moisture, and carbon dioxide could damage the interior. Elias planned to admit 2,000 visitors per day. The archaeologists approved 400. That restriction destroyed his first financial model. He had expected high volume and cheap tickets. Now he needed fewer visitors spending much more. Then came the desert. The access road cost $6 million. Solar power and battery storage cost $3 million. Water had to be transported and stored underground. Staff housing was required because the nearest town was 90 minutes away. Security meant perimeter patrols, artifact protection, emergency teams, crowd control, drone monitoring, and national police coordination. Before selling one ticket, Elias had committed $42 million. But he still believed opening day would make everything work. The campaign showed sunrise over the desert, private chamber tours, and elegant dinners beneath the stars. Bookings looked strong. Then 3 days before opening, a sandstorm closed the highway. Tour companies rerouted their groups. 2 airlines cancelled flights after a temporary security warning. 17 guests arrived. The visitor center, built for thousands, felt like an airport after midnight. Elias passed a gift shop filled with miniature pyramids no one was buying. The restaurant had prepared food for 600 people. 48 employees had nothing to do. That day, the pyramid earned less than $2,000. It cost almost $40,000 to operate. For the first time, Elias understood the problem. The pyramid was priceless, but access to it was optional. People admired pyramids, shared their photographs, and watched documentaries about them. That did not mean they would travel 3 hours through a desert to see one. The business model changes. Elias stopped treating the pyramid as a ticketed monument and made it the center of an experience economy. Standard entry remained $24, but admission was no longer the main product. An interior tour cost $28 extra. Sunrise access cost $150. A private evening expedition with an archaeologist cost $800 per group. The visitor center added digital reconstructions of chambers tourists could not enter. Guests could study scans, handle replica tools, and watch archaeologists explain discoveries. Elias created a shuttle from the capital. The ticket, transport, and lunch bundle sold for $95. Then came the highest margin product, licensing. Film studios paid for exterior footage. Publishers licensed three-dimensional scans. Universities subscribed to teaching materials. Game developers bought accurate architectural models. Luxury brands paid to use the pyramid in campaigns. Only 400 people could enter the monument each day. Its digital image could be sold millions of times without wearing down one stone. By the second year, attendance reached 420,000. General tickets produced about $10 million. Interior tours added more than $3 million. Premium experiences generated another $3 million. Food, transport, and merchandise contributed nearly $5 million. Licensing, education, and media partnerships added $3 million more. Annual revenue reached roughly $24 million. On paper, the pyramid looked successful, but revenue was not profit. The pyramid tax payroll, security, archaeologists, and guides consumed more than $5 million a year. Conservation and structural monitoring cost $3 million. Transport, water, power, insurance, marketing, and administration took another $6 million. The government collected 12% of revenue before Elias recovered his investment. Debt payments consumed more than $3 million annually. After everything, the pyramid produced only around $3 million in yearly cash profit, less than several of Elias's ordinary warehouses. Every attempt to improve profit created another risk. More visitors meant more humidity, erosion, and political criticism. Higher prices made citizens feel their own history was being reserved for wealthy foreigners. Private events paid enormous fees, but one careless crew could damage a surface that had survived thousands of years. The pyramid was a national symbol, archaeological site, workplace, attraction, and political argument made of stone. The crack in the third year, a sensor detected movement above an interior passage. It was less than the width of a fingernail. But with ancient structures, tiny changes can become enormous problems. The government closed the chambers immediately. Elias expected 2 weeks. It lasted 5 months. For 5 months, Elias paid his team's salaries from his own pocket. Tour operators demanded refunds. Premium bookings disappeared. Headlines used words like danger, collapse, and curse. Revenue fell by almost 40%. The monument still stood where it had stood for millennia, but the business around it was bleeding cash. Elias had reserves. A smaller operator would have gone bankrupt. During the closure, he made the decision that saved the concession. He stopped selling physical entry as the ultimate experience and turned restricted areas into a mystery people could explore digitally. Visitors entered a chamber built from laser scans. Walls responded to movement. Hidden inscriptions appeared through projected light. An archaeologist guided them through details impossible to see during a physical visit. The revenue can disappear overnight. Its greatest strength is scarcity. There is only one structure with its exact history. Its greatest weakness is also scarcity. If anything happens to it, there is no replacement. Owning a pyramid is not like owning real estate. It is like operating a museum, transportation company, media brand, security operation, and conservation laboratory at the same time. The stones may be ancient, but the business must constantly reinvent itself. And that is the final irony. Elias believed he had acquired a monument that would make him rich. What he acquired was a responsibility that could never truly belong to him. Because when you own a normal asset, you decide what it becomes. But when you own a pyramid, history has already decided. You are only paying for the privilege of protecting it.